Hey guys, welcome back with another video with Linksy. Today we're going to be looking at Troy's patch notes. They updated the game. Now it's 1.1, and this is something we've really been looking forward to as quite a lot of people. So we can all agree the first launch of the game, as amazing as it was, had issues. Namely, Chariots destroyed everything, units seemed to have glitched into each other, there was a lot of UI issues, and we cannot forget the fact that it was a capitalist ancient Greece where you could legitimately buy everything and basically cheese ad infinitum the system. Now, this is a lot of notes. One second, just a lot of patch notes. There's also in Chinese if you would like to see that. So I'm not going to be reading all of this because it will be basically podcast with Linksy more than anything. No, all I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to go through the major things that I thought that they were of note. I thought they were really cool or important or changes. They do a really good job themselves of summarizing this as well. The main changes are, as you can see here, chariots are no longer made of adamantium. Now they're just built out of wood and pixels. Greeks, as we said, gave up capitalism and have embraced a different form of economy, which we haven't yet to see how will that pan out. I'll be honest with you, I haven't yet played, so there might still be some bugs or new bugs even that come out. And yeah, lots of random small bugs were fixed as well. Interestingly enough, though, three things which I didn't think they were much of a problem per se, but seems they were. Poison the well was ridiculously broken because if you leveled up a spy high enough, they would be able to essentially kill an entire garrison every turn. So that's really good that that's been fixed. It's still effective apparently, but it's been balanced out. Achilles has a bit of an easier start, as it was Achilles had the hardest start on Legendary. I mean, it was still okay, but if you wanted to win the first engagement on turn 1, it was very difficult to do so unless the enemy spawned in with a archer hero, archer general, because you'd be basically outnumbered by like 3 or 4 units. So it seems they fixed that a little bit and balanced it out. And they've also fixed the big bug that Centaurs and Centaurs Eldos had, where you could essentially at some point start recruiting as many as you want from them and from almost anywhere. So it's good that they added their buildings, and that seems to be fixed. So what are the main bug fixes over here? Just a litany of small bugs. Events that used to crash the game, lots of issues that used to crash the game. They've just, it's really nice to see a company just listening in, because these were all like things that a lot of people were saying on the forums and on groups and Discord chats. So it seems that they've listened to it and they've moved forward with that. Interestingly, though, the epic heroes and missions. So when you have the Trojan horse hosts and the Den hosts gathering, that has been sort of kind of toned down a little bit, because it used to just get triggered anyway. But now it makes more sense, even if you're at war, let's say with your Achilles and you're at war with Mycenae and with Sparta, it makes sense that it doesn't trigger anymore because it just goes a bit to shit. Achilles himself, he had a lot of issues when it came to his moods. They didn't seem to be functioning that well. So they seems to tackle that. They've tackled Mycenae's issues with some certain missions, and they've tackled, they tackled a lot of small things, and it seems to have really moved things together. Now, the really important thing is they fixed the bugs in diplomacy and the balance of power. Balance of power is now fixed, where if an enemy has no armies, they still sometimes were the strongest. Now it's fixed where it actually shows that they have no armies. Resources. So there was this thing, if you had a negative income, you could cheese the AI by offering one more somehow out of nowhere, and they would consider that to be ridiculously expensive because you have nothing. That was the logic. Now they've fixed that. They fixed also issues where barter agreements, you could have issues where you could just trade non-stop every turn until you've basically bought the entire map. Confederation priorities have been changed, and that is good. Confederations were ridiculously difficult to get for the player. The AI was much easier, and now it's been balanced out a little bit apparently from what they wrote here, and that's going to be quite useful if you want to actually build a confederation. And there's no discrepancy between the confederation penalty and the actual restriction. They fixed the discrepancy that there was, in sense it's no longer two things but rather linked together. Now the campaign itself, the campaign has, as we said, a lot of things fixed, lots of degrees, lots of religious things have been overhauled. I will not go through them because these are quite minor, but overall they've added more buffs or debuffs with regards to the cults. They fixed where your centaurs, we already spoke this. They fixed the bugs where the AI would just, you could, the backspace basically, where you could control if the AI moves or not. That is a massive bug that was plaguing both this game, Warhammer, and even Three Kingdoms apparently, because it is the engine issue. They've removed the soft locks to the end turn when you have dilemmas, so you don't run the risk of getting stuck and not knowing exactly what the hell is happening, having to reload. They fixed the cameras, they fixed lots of small things, nothing really that was breaking the game per se, but it was more minor annoyances, and that's really cool. Now, with regards to the campaign UI, it's nothing really of note. Again, just fixing tooltips, and but this is nice because they cleaned up a little bit the UI of the campaign screen, which was quite hectic and quite full of stuff. With regards to tutorials, if you guys played the tutorials, they've removed the difficulty options, so you just one difficulty and it just goes on one thing, and you can just cancel recruitment of Agamemnon's troops, updated Agamemnon's ambush, and small things like that. With regards to battles, they fixed the winged chariots, they fixed their range issue. This is interesting. They mention Amazonian champions. As far as I know, there are no Amazonian champions yet in the game, so this perhaps hints to the launch of the Amazonian DLC very, very soon. I could be wrong, but I went through all of the units multiple times, and I don't remember seeing Amazonian champions as a chariot unit. For Ancient Axemen, Trojan Spears also finally got their shield properly used, because there were some glitches where sometimes it wouldn't work, it wouldn't count into the massive calculator at the back of the game. Troy's garrison starts very tired in the night battle. That's really important because that's the entire point of the night battle. And I think that's just about it. Yeah, another one. Yeah, heroes getting targeted once their chariot is destroyed. That is very, very important. Terrain just got fixed a bit. I kind of like the fact that it's not here, but it's further down. They've added a few more maps as well, which is really cool. I think 1 or 2 maps, which is nice. With regards to the battle UI, they added and changed things to look a little bit cleaner, a little bit sharper, and that's cool. With regards to campaign balance, this is something that was important. So the Zeus, Descendant of Zeus trait gives you 40 melee damage instead of 4, which that was seems a typo. And they've reduced the amount of gold you get from the Pharaoh's Dilemma, which was a bit broken because 250 gold was rather a lot. They've made sure that every faction has a 20 unit garrison when occupying Troy, which is important, again, because there was an issue where as Hector or as Paris, you confederate Troy, and then you have like 6 units in there, and then Mycenae comes and takes it instantly. So that is really important. As well, if you just took Troy, you'd want to have a strong garrison there as the Dans. Achilles gets a little bit more buffs. Achilles is ridiculously strong in the late game, but early game he was just having so many issues. So that might help to have him played more often. Battle changes, nothing really massive, but they did try to change the battle AI actions, how it moves, how it adapts to your situation, and how they move and fix their, reactions to the player. And this is cool. This is something I'm expecting that will keep changing every other patch or every patch till they stop patching the game, as the AI is something that is constantly ongoing. It's constantly adapting. And especially with the launch or announcement of Warhammer 3, we're going to see a lot of focus on AI. At least that's my interpretation of it. That's my idea of it. Could be wrong, could be right. I have no idea. Battle changes. Okay, this is the important part. Let's talk about the minor things. So Harpies damage has been reduced by 23. They were broken. That's fantastic. That's good. They've added more battle speeds to strafe. So when you're using strafe, you can move faster. They've reduced the block chance, which was insane at 75 for renowned swordsmen, to 65. I believe that should even go down to 45. They're swordsmen. They're not meant to have like shield walls, like shield, huge shield. Sorry, my brain is just farting. They're just fast. Maybe adds a little bit of speed to them and reduce their missile block chance more, because the speed would counterattack the missile block chance, as they would not get hit as often. Now, the big thing is Chariots have had their melee defense reduced by 15%, and I made the joke at the start. They're no longer made of adamantium. Chariots die much faster. They are really shit now when they fight in the forest, when they fight in the mud, and they fight in the tall grass. They get their melee attack and melee defense reduced, which is important, because that is such a big thing. In the tall grass, they only suffer minor penalties, but in the muds and the forests, they basically are useless. They no longer break city gates as if they were made of paper, and also city gates get more health and need a longer time to be destroyed, which is fair enough. The main issue with that is there's still a lack, and this is a big problem that was going to come up with multiplayer, which is a month and a half around the corner, almost legitimately around the corner. You will need to have another way of breaching the walls, because the gates are too choke pointy, the walls are too difficult to get up onto and have a proper fight on the wall. So there needs to be a way that the walls can be taken down, be it by some form of catapult, be it some form of I don't know, suicide units that just smashes the walls and blows it up. There needs to be something to allow a few more breaches, and that would make the fight for the city much harder, because at the moment the cities are ridiculously well defended, and this is why I also disagree with the change to the city gates health. The towers outside the city are so strong, so ridiculously strong. They even Athens itself has this tower in the middle of the settlement, and it just kills everything. It's not really something you want. You don't want to have MG42 gun nests in, in Troy in that time period. But that's essentially what they are. They will do insane damage. They don't run out of ammo. They are one-directional. Thank God, but even then, it's just going to be a nightmare. You always need the siren of a game in Total War. Just needs to be a little bit rebalanced with regards to the amount of times it attacks, or else significantly reduce the damage it does, because as it stands, it just does too much. I think that's about it. Oh yeah, and they added the Archer Hero trait, which is quite nice. Battle maps, they increased, get tier 1 and tier 2. That's good, that's important. Units move and act in a different way, and also UI improvements in general. This is something, if you guys want to read, go ahead and read. There's nothing that changes the game essentially or very important, but they polished it up and they made it look better, and they made sure that it looks nicer in general and easier to navigate. I really like the comment, updated battering ram icon to look more like, well, a battering ram. That is something that is cool. I found quite fun. Now, this is amazing, right? A month after release, we know Total War don't really release that many updates or that often, but just a month after release, just a little under a month, they've released a massive thing and fixed a lot of issues. There are still some things I'd like to see fixed, and there are still some things which are issues that, yeah, unfortunately push people away from what is essentially a really good step in the right direction for, at least in my opinion, for the series. The balance of power issue with Troy is unfortunately still a little bit too in favor of the player. This might need to be fixed, at least on the hard, very hard and legendary difficulties. Make it give a little bit more oomph to the AI. Just add a little bit of difficulty that way, so you do actually have to fight battles, not auto-resolve everything. We spoke about the towers, they're just still broken. There's something I need to explore, and I'm kind of trying to figure it out how it works exactly, but a number of people have been speaking on the forums about a raid glitch where you essentially can raid ad infinitum in one turn, and you can sack every single settlement in the campaign map on one turn until you have units, basically. That's tad broken. I'm trying to make a video out of it. Hopefully it will be out before it's fixed. We'll see. I didn't see anything that fixed it in all of these patch notes, so maybe it's still there. Hopefully it's not, because that does not sound cool. Resource issues are still present. The way you generate resources is either through sacking or through, well, now it's no longer available, through using the like bugs and cheese. So maybe add a little bit more resource generation, especially towards the end game. Not in the start is fine, but make it possible that you can hold a full army and a half with maybe 2 or 3 regions, rather than having like 6 regions and just being able to afford 2 armies comfortably without going in the red. And priestesses, in my opinion, and envoys to a certain extent as well, are still ridiculously weak, and they don't seem to do that much per se. So they might need a little bit of a revamp or a touching up on what they can do. But yeah, with that said, it's just definitely quite an interesting change, and a lot of stuff that has been really a pain in the ass for a lot of people has been fixed. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, just let me know. This is the first time I kind of did this kind of thing. This is my take on the bug fixes and the updates and the issues and the changes that has been done. It's a patch. Take of it as you will. I'll link it in the description box below if you guys want to read it yourselves. I highly recommend you go through it if you're really interested in the game. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, just let me know. If you guys think I should fix something, let me know as well. If you guys really hate it, especially if you hate it, leave me a comment and tell me how much you hated it. And with that said, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you do enjoy the content. If not, well, thanks for dropping by. Thanks for sticking this long, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye bye.